Early morning and avoiding the glare of public eyes at the British Aerospace factory near Preston, a new British sports racing car is rolled out for its very first test. Months of work and worry come to fruition in a bold attempt to revive the fortunes of one of the most famous names in British motorsport, BRM. It's just 3 weeks to go to the start of the World Sports Car Championship at Monza in Italy. The BRM has yet to turn a wheel in anger, and it faces the challenge of following in the footsteps of current world champions Jaguar against the might of opposition from Peugeot, Toyota and Mazda. Will it be a return to the heydays of the 60s when they won the Formula One Constructors title with Graham Hill? Or is the team to face the same agony of the public development of their first Grand Prix car in the early 50s? That very first BRM arrived late for its debut, made 4 laps in practice and then broke a drive shaft at the start of the race. A regulation change deprived the V16 machine of any chance of Grand Prix glory, and its 2.5-litre successor fared little better despite the talents of Stirling Moss. It was the arrival of Graham Hill and the new 1.5-litre formula that brought BRM its greatest success in the early 60s. They also turned their attention to sports cars and raced an experimental Rover gas turbine-powered machine at Le Mans in 1963 and 65, finishing on both occasions. But it was their Grand Prix wins that counted for most, and in 1962 they took both constructors' and drivers' title with Graham Hill at the wheel. Jackie Stewart started his Grand Prix career with the team, but really the greatest memories remain with the partnership of Hill and BRM. The last Grand Prix victory was to be scored by Jean-Pierre Beltoise in atrocious conditions at Monaco in 1972, but by then BRM was already in decline. It's here, in the back streets of Congleton, Cheshire, that the revival of the BRM name is being coordinated behind the rather unprepossessing facade of a converted mill. The mill is the base for John Mangaletzi's production of special high-performance manifolds, but his current project is of a different order of complexity. His designer, Paul Brown, was to use the latest high-tech, computer-aided design and the most sophisticated of materials. Magnesium alloys for the castings of gearbox and uprights, and a Kevlar composite monocoque like current Grand Prix cars. BRM was always a thoroughbred manufacturer and so commissioned their own engine from Terry Hoyle Limited. A 3.5-litre V12 has been built with an output of around 630 horsepower. Reliability is crucial in endurance racing, so BRM have also turned to consulting engineers Ricardo to help avoid damaging heat stresses in the cylinder head. Last November, the major components came together for the first time in the Congleton workshop. At last, it was possible to get a real feel for the layout of the complete car and try out the near-central driving position under the eye of team manager Ian Dawson. Where's the column got to go below there, though? Yeah. So central. Just 5 days ago, we were at the BRM workshop in Congleton, looking at pieces of a racing car. Now, we're down at London at the Science Museum, and here is a complete BRM P351 Le Mans. This sort of public event is crucial in keeping the sponsors happy and attracting more finance, but basically it's just a punctuation mark in the slow and difficult development process. It seems a long time since that launch, but it's been 4 months of painstaking work, waiting for parts to be made and trying to put together a sponsorship package. Now comes the crunch. Like every new racing car I have ever known, it was temperamental at the beginning. As the engineers searched for the problem, John Mangaletzi's vision was unblurred.
We wanted to bring BRM back as a strong racing force, and we've decided to go into sports car racing, and we're dedicated to racing worldwide in sports cars.
And the inspiration yourself that keeps you going?
It's a famous name which we have to do justice to start off with, and it's a project which is very exciting. We have a lot of support from a lot of industry people worldwide, and we want to go out there and do a good job for them all.
After hours of increasingly desperate struggle, the team resorted to the tow rope, with success. At last, the new BRM had come alive. A couple of blasts up and down the dirty runway by Ian Dawson, and it was time for driver Harry Toivonen to have a go. By now, a flat battery combined with the faulty throttle potentiometer that caused the starting problem meant little useful could be learnt, but at least the BRM had turned a wheel for the first time. 6 days later at Silverstone, Toivonen's co-driver Wayne Taylor had the chance to try the car at speed. The team will miss the first round at Monza, and instead the new BRM will make its own debut on May the 10th at Silverstone. Let's hope they have better luck than in 1950.